Alright, so I got me a copy of Christmas Evil from Vinegar Syndrome, and I'd never seen this film before. This was released in 1980, and according to the back of this, this is John Waters' favorite Christmas film of all time. That is very intriguing. I know John Waters to be very much into his quirky stuff, very wacky cinema. Straight up horror, didn't think he would love it so much, and like I said, first time viewing this film, so I didn't really know exactly what I was getting into other than it being a Christmas themed horror film, low budget cult film as well, and yeah. This, see, I knew, like, I'd heard of this film, and obviously I'd heard of and seen Silent Night, Deadly Night many times. So those are basically the two classic Christmas horror films that are most known to me or have been most known to me. And I have seen Silent Night, Deadly Night a few times, own it. And this is the one that I would kind of compare the two for being like well known cult, lower budget Christmas horror films. I would say the preference goes to Silent Night, Deadly Night out of these two. This one was good. Silent Night, Deadly Night is great, in my opinion, but this one is good. It's not bad whatsoever. I did have a really good time, excuse me, watching this for the first time tonight. So, what we have is an opening that takes place in 1947. So, the opening is about this little kid. His name is Harry, and he has a little brother named Billy. We've got another Billy in a Christmas horror film, by the way. This is like the fifth, honestly. I mentioned this in another video, but every Christmas horror film has a Billy in it. It is so weird. So Billy and Harry, they're little kids. They see Santa come in because they're watching Santa with their mom, and they're pretending to hide in a corner, and the dad, who's dressed up as Santa, comes down the chimney. Somehow they make it kind of magical because they show Santa Claus, or the dad, coming, like, dropping down the chimney, doing his thing, eating the cookies, drinking the milk, winking at mom without the kids noticing, and then, like, shooting back up the chimney and whatnot. So the kids go to bed. Billy tells Harry that Santa's not real and that it was just Dad dressed up as Santa, and Harry gets all upset and doesn't believe it. Goes downstairs, catches Santa being frisky with Mom, and Santa's like rubbing Mom's leg as she's standing up. He's on his knees and he's like rubbing up her stocking and stuff like that, and Harry gets all upset, and this just totally puts him into rage mode where he takes a snow globe and just breaks it on the floor. And then, for some odd reason, he takes one of the shards of the snow globe and cuts his hand with it. And this is your opening of Christmas Evil, so you get some pretty dark shit right at the beginning. And then it flashes forward to my favorite, The Present, which a lot of films seem to do. I don't know why, because The Present is 1980 and this is going on 2022. So it's never really going to be the exact present that the film intended it to be, but however, from 1947 to the present, you have Harry as a grown man. He works at this toy shop called Jolly Dream, and it's basically a toy production company. And Harry is extremely strange. You see this right off the bat. You know that it's the same kid who cut his hand, so you're not expecting anything less from this guy. But he's he's very antisocial. He throughout the film has this plan, but you don't really know exactly what it is. You just know that it involves probably Santa Claus, and it involves a countdown towards Christmas. Um, he has his apartment completely decked out in Christmas attire and stuff like that. Santa Claus faces on the wall. Um, he has these books that he keeps track of naughty and nice uh, things about the kids around the neighborhood. This guy spies on kids, literally through their windows with binoculars. It's this whole like rear window thing going on, like Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window, where he's looking at through kids' windows with binoculars. Most creepy thing ever. But he has these books where he writes down whether the kids have been naughty or nice and things that they've actually done. So if they've done something nice, he'll write it in this book, and if they've done something naughty, he'll write it in the book. And yeah, he's basically stalking all the kids in the neighborhood. And it's counting down till Christmas. As Christmas approaches, it just gets weirder and weirder. He hums a lot of Christmas songs, so there's a lot of Christmas music in this film in general, but a lot of those songs are just him humming them in a really like creepy voice. Throughout the film, he also keeps mentioning the tune. He's trying to find the perfect tune, whatever that means, and he keeps mentioning it to his coworkers, to his brother Billy. His brother Billy is married with kids himself, and he's always worrying about his brother. His brother Harry is single; he doesn't have any woman at home or anything, and he has a job. He has a steady job, but basically, like all his coworkers are always just trying to get him to take their shifts, and they're always picking on him, teasing him, commenting on the fact that he's weird as shit. Um, and yeah, closer to Christmas, he starts to find Christmas attire. He drives a van and he paints a sled on his van, so he basically turns it into like a Christmas vehicle, and when Christmas approaches on Christmas Eve, he begins to steal the toys that they were producing in this toy company and actually do really great things for good kids and do really, really horrific things for bad, naughty kids. And not just kids, adults too. There's this really kind of gruesome but really violent murder scene where he just completely murders three people in front of a church while they're coming out of a church because these people start picking on him, and then he takes a toy soldier which was produced in the toy factory with a spike like a toy soldier holding a sword, and he just uses this toy right through this guy's eye in front of the church, and there's this weird like 70s 80s music like horror music that they would like, not quite 8-bit but like really simplistic, like something you would do on like a synthesizer or something like that. Um, and he murders these three people and then just takes off in his van. But just before that, there was a scene where he's handing out a bunch of presents to a bunch of kids at a like a sick kids hospital, and he's also, when he does this, he's practicing his Merry Christmas, and he tries to do it in a bunch of ways, like Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, and he goes on for like half a minute to a minute, and then he finally perfects it, and he's like Merry Christmas, ha ha ha, and he gives all these presents to these kids, and he's all nice to these kids, and then of course he goes to make that mass murder in front of that church. There's this scene where he goes to this couple's house, and he puts this like tar on his face, like I don't know if it's tar or mud, but he puts it on his face and hands, and then he kisses the wall of the house and puts his handprints on the wall of the house with his muddy handprints or tar or whatever the hell it is, and his lips like kissing the wall. I don't know if that was to mark the house so he knows which house is which. I don't know what was going on in that scene, but yeah, he did that. When he dresses up as Santa, he glues, like literally super glues the beard to his face where he's like pulling it and laughing because he's like, oh, I'm like, in his like hallucinatory mind, he literally thinks he's Santa. And when he drives the van too, he actually thinks he's in a sleigh because he's imitating like whipping the reindeer, and he's calling them by their name. He's like, "Go, Dancer, go, Blitzen, whatever," and he really thinks he's Santa Claus when he's behind the wheel of this van. It to jump into like a psycho's mentality. I like how they did that in this film. This film also feels like it came out in 1980, but it feels like it was filmed in the 70s. This film definitely feels 70s more than 80s. So I think they probably produced it and put it together in the late 70s and then released it in the 80s. That would make a lot of sense to me. Going back to John Waters too, John Waters has a full commentary on this film, and that is definitely what I'm going to be putting on the next time I watch this because I have to listen to John Waters describe this film. Knowing John Waters, I just think that would be such a treat, and I'm so glad that they decided to include that commentary in here because I can only imagine how good that comedy is going to be. And then there's a scene where he goes to his coworker's house named Frank, and Frank is on the naughty list too. And he tries to go down the chimney, but he has a very hard time doing so. He gets stuck in it, and then he's trying to get himself out, and he actually like sucks his belly in. He's like to pull himself out, and he's just like pulling, and then he just goes down, lets himself in through a window, and then makes Frank his last murder of Christmas Eve, pretty much, and he tries to like suffocate Frank using the bag of toys, and and his wife is sleeping right next to him, but doesn't hear any struggle whatsoever. This guy's being suffocated with a bag of toys, and his wife's just sleeping, like rolling around, kind of thing. She rolls over, and then he slits Frank's throat and like throws him on top of his wife, and his wife has the most delayed scream ever. She has her mouth open, about to scream, and she's like, and like she can't scream because she can't like make the sounds, I guess, because she's just that petrified. And for like a minute and a half, she's trying, and then Santa, the guy dressed as Santa, Harry, runs away, and she's finally like ah, and then he runs out of the house. He's chased around town, like downtown, where these these guys who heard the news and heard about the Santa murders are chasing him down with some torches, and it totally reminds me of like the scene from Frankenstein where all the townsfolk are chasing Frankenstein down the or throughout the town with all like pitchforks and flames and torches and shit like that. It's like that, but with Santa Claus instead of Frankenstein. It was kind of funny. I love the news reporter on Christmas Day after these 5 murders or 4 murders, however many it was, took place. The news reporter is like, anybody who's dressed as Santa Claus, and if you know anybody who works as Santa, anybody is a suspect. So literally anybody who's dressed up as Santa and working as like a Santa's helper, Santa mall Santa, whatever, anybody in a Santa suit is a suspect. And they actually have a scene where they're interrogating Santa Clauses in prison, like lining them up with like the the heights, like the 5 foot, 6 foot on the back of the wall, and they're all like lined up, and they make them all say Merry Christmas. Swear it turned into a horror comedy just immediately. Like the whole film is pretty much horror, and then they throw in that brilliant comedy. It's just amazing. And then the very final scene of the movie, Santa is getting away in his vehicle. He's this is after he has a whole interrogation with his brother Billy, who tries to strangle him. But he gets in his van slash sleigh. He drives right through this mall of people with torches, and he breaks through a bridge or a cliff or something like that, and then the van starts flying to the moon, and then it gives us like Christmas quote and Christmas like song or jingle or something like that. And he's flying to the friggin' moon on this van sleigh. Now, obviously, I interpret that as he crashed into the floor and died, and that was like his last hallucinatory moment because he was so, you know, believing that he was Santa Claus in his psychotic mind, and he really did think he was doing the right thing by treating the nice people. I'll say people because it's not just kids he has on a naughty and nice list or whatever. So he does great, amazing things for nice people, and he does horrendous things for naughty people, and they treated this film really well for like making a crazy guy think he's Santa Claus, and just everything they did with it. It was really cool. It was really it was neat. It's a good, well structured Christmas horror film. Yes, I do like Silent Night Deadly Night better for a Christmas horror film. It's definitely more fun. It's brutal, way more brutal than this. I heard this one was like one of the most bleak Christmas horror films, but man, you want to talk bleak Christmas horror? It's Silent Night Deadly Night. I'm sorry. That whole rape scene at the beginning. But like I reviewed Silent Night Deadly Nights 1 and 2 last year. I reviewed 3 and 4 this year. All 4 are on the channel, so go check those out. But yeah, we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about Christmas Evil. Awesome, awesome film. Great release from Vinegar Syndrome. This one definitely has a lot of rewatch value, and I can see myself watching it. Maybe not again this year, but certainly next year, and even throughout the year. This is a film that it doesn't just have to be at Christmas. You can enjoy this any time of the year, and it's a lot of fun. So, well done, Christmas horror. I really liked it. Excuse me. I wish there was more kills in it. I wish there was more like grotesque moments, but for what it did deliver, I loved that whole like murder of the 3 people in front of the church. That was totally unexpected. Not with the pick in the guy's eye, but just the fact that he murdered like 3 people at once. And nothing was more unexpected than that last scene where the freaking van starts flying. I'm like, holy shit. Talk about talk about funny, man. Talk about funny. Fun film. Fun film. Really good stuff. Christmas Evil, 1980. This is directed by Lewis Jackson, and it's an awesome cult film. It's an awesome cult film. Perfect for Christmas Eve. So hope everybody is enjoying their holidays. Merry Christmas to all of you. I'm having a blast and have had a blast reviewing all these Christmas films. And yeah, good stuff. 2 thumbs up for Christmas Evil. It was awesome. So subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice or if you like my film reviews. I will be back with more, so stay tuned, and Merry Christmas. Till next review, take care, have a good one, and cheers.